This is Jimmy Flame Daddy. Welcome back to another episode of I can't talk right now. The art of hitting your opponent with a planet. There we go. It's much better. Tell you what, hanging out with that Mr. Fitness the other day. Little lesson in diction right there, baby. The art of hitting your opponent with a planet. Today's topic. We're talking George the Animal Steele and Ivan-Koloff. Two iconic, just absolute legends of the squared circle, passed away recently within 24 hours of each other. And today we're just going to celebrate their careers. Both of these men scared the daylights out of me when I was a kid in their own respects. Ivan-Koloff more as a pure heel of the time, and George the Animal Steele just for being like just being the boogeyman. I reflect back and feel kind of silly for being afraid of these men. After all, they were on television. In the same way that I was afraid of Andre the Giant, even when he was a good guy. Only because, okay, I'm going to share something with you, a little personal right now. Before I get to that real quick story, I wanted to drop my friend's radio show. I just checked it out today. It's called Zorch Radio. My buddy Jake Noose hosts Zorch Radio. You can find it at zorchradio.com. He plays some really good music. Psychobilly in that punk tinge. You know, in the punk spirit. Psychobilly, rockabilly. Just fun stuff. Fun stuff. So head on over to zorchradio.com when you can. Just check out his show. He's got a rad show. He's got plenty of episodes up, so you can listen to that stuff all day, all night. You ain't gonna run out of material. All right, you're welcome, Jake. I'll be hitting you up for a favor soon. The dozens of fans of this show will be flocking to your show. All right, back on track. Get back on track. Okay, so what I was saying, I was going to share a dream I had as a kid. So I dreamt that I was watching wrestling on TV, and it was right before WrestleMania. Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan were fighting each other, essentially before WrestleMania 3. And I was so mad at Andre the Giant for ripping the gold off of Hogan's neck and treating him the way that he did leading up to WrestleMania 3. I remember yelling at the TV screen in this dream, "Man, Andre, you suck," or something like that. And then everything kind of paused, and Andre the Giant looked at me through the TV screen, and in that voice of his ass, or told me to take it back or something like that. And I just about crapped my pants because I was like, wait, Andre the Giant's interacting with me through the TV. And he was like, "Do you still think I suck," or whatever? And I said, "Yeah, you stink, man," something like that. And he's like, "Wait a minute, I'll be over in a second." Next thing I know, there's a knock on my door. I open the door and it's freaking Andre the Giant, but he's like 5 foot tall. And I'm like, "Oh crap, it's Andre the Giant." And he grabbed me and threw me off of I used to have this really tall porch. And for some reason was always afraid I was going to fall off of it one day or something. I don't know. I guess I'd think of those sorts of things. But he threw me off the porch, and it was one of those falling dreams where you fall forever, and right before you hit the ground, you wake up. Well, that's what happened there. Anyhow, that's neither here nor there. Just figured I'd share that with you real quick. That's one of those funny moments that I don't know. I have many of those. But back to Ivan-Koloff and George the Animal Steele. Man, talk about characters. You know, enough can't be said about especially George the Animal Steele. A lot of people, it's kind of, I can't really say that. Steele played like this, is most known for playing this just wild man, this wild, possibly intellectually challenged character. And it's since become public knowledge that George the Animal Steele actually earned a Bachelor of Science degree from Michigan State University, as well as a master's degree from Central Michigan University. He was a teacher, an amateur wrestling coach, and a football coach at Madison High School over in Madison Heights, Michigan. He's also a member of the Michigan Coaches Hall of Fame. So in his real life, so to speak, he's a very accomplished guy. He's a very intelligent, very engaged with the community type person. But that's not the guy he played in the ring. You know, he played this fuzzy, crazy, wild animal, you know, kind of just, I don't know, a slow individual. You know, one heck of a bad guy as well. You know, he did the whole hide the gimmick in his trunks thing and hid it in his mouth. He'd use his body to guard the referee from seeing the gimmick in his mouth. Everyone in the building saw it, but the referee. You know, just a genius in the ring. I don't think anyone would ever dispute that. And he entertained fans across the wrestling spectrum for like 50 years or something crazy like that. What a lot of people don't know is he got into wrestling because he was just trying to supplement his income. He started in the Detroit area. In order to protect his privacy, he wrestled under a hood as the Student. And Gary Hart served as his manager and had to explain to the announcers every week why his client could not apply any legitimate holds or maneuvers, instead relying on his undisciplined brute strength. Steele was not what you call a technical wrestler, so to speak. But he did enough to where it garnered the attention of worldwide wrestling entertainment, or wrestling back then. It wasn't just entertainment back then. And they quickly signed him as a part-timer. He began working in the Pittsburgh area. Bruno Sammartino brought him in on the popular studio wrestling TV show broadcast on WIIC TV. Later became WPXI, Channel 11, right there in Pittsburgh. Sammartino liked the character that Steele developed, this wild man with incredible strength. However, he wanted him to drop the mask, as well as the title of the Student, and looking to hide his real name. I'm not going to reveal his real name. You can look that stuff up on Google anyway, but just out of respect for his character, he became George the Animal Steele, as a way to continue protecting his shoot identity, I guess. But George the Animal Steele went on to entertain all of us for many, many, many years, and with great sadness, we have to, bid him farewell. He's on to the next journey. Some have said that heaven must have needed an animal, or heaven must have needed a policeman up there to keep all them wrestlers that they've been taking from us under control. Professional wrestling, and man, he was one of the old Worldwide Wrestling Federation's most notorious entertainers. He was billed as being from the Ukraine. His popularity just soared in the 1980s. He found a passion for wrestling early on. Left high school at 18 to devote himself to full-time to the sport. And he first debuted in professional wrestling as a character named Red McNulty. You can find that information, much more information about him in the book WWE Legends, written by Brian Solomon. But he built a huge following in Toronto, where he got his start. He debuted the Russian Bear, Ivan-Koloff, what we all came to know him as, in around 1967 during an International Wrestling Association match, the old IWA, winning the heavyweight championship as well. He joined the old WWF in 1969 under the guidance of Captain Lou Albano, a man who broke in a lot of wrestlers. He'd go on to win the World Heavyweight title in 1971, defeating Bruno Sammartino by pinfall in a legendary match at the Mecca of professional wrestling, Madison Square Garden. Sammartino, known as the Italian Hero, had previously had a 7.5-year run with the belt, which at that time, whew, daddy, it's a long time, my man. Koloff quickly moved to the NWA, as a group with a group called the Russians. He was the leader. He captured the NWA's tag title 4 years in a row and retired eventually in 1989. Now, despite his notoriety, Koloff isn't in the WWE Hall of Fame. What's going on here, y'all? We got the Rock and Roll Express in there this year. A lot of people said it wouldn't be done. Now we got to get Ivan the Russian Bear Koloff in. Even though he was anti-American. Even though he perpetuated the fright caused by the Cold War. He still deserves a spot there because you just can't talk professional wrestling without bringing up his name. George Steele has been a Hall of Famer since I think pretty much since its inception. I think he was inducted back in like 1995 or I mean he was among the first to go in, rightfully so. He's the guy that when we were all kids, like George Animal Steele. There was George the Animal Steele, Junkyard Dog, Hulk Hogan. Those were the guys that would just roll off your tongue. Andre the Giant, like those guys. Like you could not talk professional wrestling without bringing up those dudes. And in the same respect, you can't talk about the villains of wrestling without bringing up Ivan-Koloff. And, I just wanted to take time on this episode today to just thank both of these gentlemen for what they did in the wrestling world, for making my childhood the coolest childhood in the world, and for continuing to keep my hopes and dreams alive about professional wrestling even into my adulthood. Seeing wrestlers out there, displaying the professionalism of these guys, and even in their real lives, like knowing that they actually had real lives. Still to this day, one of the most mind-boggling things for me was trying to reconcile how George Animal Steele could be who he was in the ring and still have a master's degree and be a teacher. Wrestling coach made sense. The Michigan State Coaches Hall of Fame makes sense. But both of these guys are living embodiments of just the possibilities of what you can do just as a human being and in your own profession. And I just want to take time today to just recognize and acknowledge both of these gentlemen and thank them from the bottom of my heart for being born and for doing what they did. I just can't say enough about it. Anywho, as they say, thank you for tuning in to this latest episode of The Art of Hitting Your Opponent with a Planet, hosted by yours truly, Jimmy Flame. I got some big news real quick before we get out of here. iHeartRadio is going to start airing this in the next couple weeks. iHeartRadio is picking up the program. That's going to be, that's big for us, Daddy. That's going to expand our audience immensely real quick. I don't know if you guys remember me from doing a Big Game James show a while back. That was also on iHeartRadio. I guess they liked it so much they want me to be doing what I'm doing right here over there on the iHeartRadio network. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Stay tuned, though. Art of Hitting Your Opponent with a Planet. Jimmy Flame. I'm going to be getting real busy with this. I'm going to be dropping episodes all the time. And until next time, my brothers and sisters, stay cool. Make sure you go out and support wrestling. Visit me on Facebook at JimmyFlame77. Twitter as well, at JimmyFlame77, and on the World Wide Web, www. Did I say that right? Yeah. WorldWideWeb.JimmyFlameWrestling.com. That's JimmyFlameWrestling.com. Check it out. JFTV is live. I got some fun television programs streaming there right now, and you can also stream this very program there. Until next time, baby, y'all take it easy. Jimmy Flames out. Ow! For the Jimmy Flame Show, you ought to hit your opponent with a planet. Go to JimmyFlameWrestling.com. That's JimmyFlameWrestling.com all the time, baby.